And then the next thing that a lot of people will ask about is, I'm given a coding question, what programming language should I use to implement the solution? And there's no right answer here, but in terms of opinions that Alex and I have, I think if you had a choice, then try and pick a more concise language like Python. And the reason is simply because time. You have tech interviews, coding interviews are a very artificial environment where you have 45 minutes or 1 hour to be able to actually output sensible code that works. And if you're writing a more verbose language like Java or C, then you're essentially wasting time writing out things on the whiteboard which don't have that much value, rather than communicating to the interviewer that you understand these concepts and you understand how to put code together. So definitely, if you have awareness or knowledge of something like Python or Kotlin, which is definitely more concise, and use that. The other question that we often get around programming languages is that I know this rare language like Prolog or Erlang. Should I use that one? Or maybe I'll look more impressive if I use a language that the interviewer doesn't know. And the answer here is no. Try and stick with the canonical set of languages like Python, Kotlin, Swift, these things that most people have heard of and are familiar with. And the reason is, again, going back to this idea of time. You have 45 minutes to convince the interviewer that you're able to write solid code, high quality code. And if you're spending 5 or 10 minutes explaining some part of the language that the interviewer may not be familiar with, that's essentially time wasted. I mean, it may not be 100% time wasted because you could eloquently describe it and the interviewer could be impressed with your ability to explain things. But unless you really feel like you're an expert in that language, I would stick with the common set of languages that most people are familiar with.